It rains once in a blue moon in Morocco, but Murphy's Law made sure that we would start our journey with a whole month's worth of it poured all at once. Our first stop, El Jadida. The Moroccan train system is not very extensive, but what it lacks in coverage, it certainly makes up for in effectiveness and punctuality. It's also comfortable, which makes it suitable for a quick test of our Apollo Solo and Focal Listen Pros. El Jadida is 110 kilometers from Casablanca, following the Atlantic coast. By train, it takes about an hour and a half, which is just enough time to get familiar with our new toys. When we got there, the skies had cleared up and our contact was waiting for us at the station. Yes, Youssef. His name is Youssef, and he is the frontman for the band Rwina.
سيد الرسول حب وربي.
But that's just to tease you. Let's take it from the top. And by the top, I really mean the top. During the medieval period, the reconquest of the Iberian Peninsula by the Portuguese was in full expansion. Therefore, a few Moroccan coastal cities were strategically chosen to establish fortified outposts, and this was one of those. But long after the end of the Portuguese era in the mid-19th century, the King of Morocco asked for the city to be rebuilt and consequently renamed it El Jadida, meaning the new. However, the layout of the old city was kept as is, and like many other North African cities, this gave birth to what is now known as Medina, which translates to the Old City. But this particular Medina is better known for its uniquely massive cistern built by the Portuguese, which became a popular film location made famous by Orson Welles, no pun intended, in his 1951 rendition of Othello. Apparently, the reverb is amazing in there, but we don't have time for that, since we only have a day and a half to record a 3-song EP. The band managed to find a very cool space inside the Medina, ironically right next to the cistern.
So we literally just arrived in El Jadida, and the band is already there rehearsing at this place, which looks amazing and sounds great, so we're really excited. It's going to be a very comfortable recording because the guys are prepared, and from a producer's standpoint, well, I mean, we can't ask for more. So we're pretty excited.
The first step of the process is always to sit down with the band and see how the recording will go about. So we came up with a strategy that fits in our time budget, and since it wasn't too late and everybody looked ready, we quickly unpacked the rig to record the basics.
C'est quoi les 3 chansons? Est-ce qu'il y a des titres? Est-ce que... C'est laquelle? Celle qui est un peu reggae, là? Ouais. Ok, ça c'est la première. Ok. Ouais, c'est ça.
But first, I have to introduce you to this unique contraption. It's one of the 2 recurring instruments that are unmistakably Gnawa, a musical identity that spices up many different genres, as you will hear throughout this series. I'll go more in depth about Gnawi culture in later episodes, but in short, its sound is shaped mainly by the gimbri, a 3-stringed instrument resonating through a bridge sitting on a tightened skin. It is usually tuned by ever so slightly moving leather straps up and down the wooden neck.
C'est quoi le nom de ça déjà? Gimbri.
Both skin and strings are traditionally made from natural hide, but some of the more modern variety will opt for nylon strings and sometimes even standard tuning pegs. Now, let's move to the setup. It consists of a kick mic, a kit mic, some stick mics, a fatter stick mic, a way to record and amplify the bass, a pair of Loughton 208s on percussions, and finally, an adapter sculpture that would make Giacometti proud and meant to record all the scratch tracks that will be overdubbed tomorrow, but still needs to be properly heard by the band today. We've also put this lovely room mic to pick up the pretty reverb. All this in our Apollo X8P and solo.
Est-ce que tout est pas mal plugué?
After using all of our adapters and a quick sound check, it was showtime. This is the final mix, so keep in mind that it also includes tomorrow's overdubs and that it is fully processed. Here's what it sounds like. We finished just in time for the night prayer call, which was seconds away from ruining a perfectly good take.
Oh, ça arrive. Hein? Oh, ça arrive tout le temps. Ça.
We quickly listened to what we had done and returned to a beautiful two-bedroom apartment that the band had found for us. Keep this in mind as our accommodation situation only goes downhill from there. Anyhow, it gave us the opportunity to clean and edit some tracks and test our Focal Clear Pros. The next day we started with the gimbri, and while wiring the microphones, we suddenly realized that we had to do something about the missing window pane which was overlooking an alley. Place of choice for young kids to screw up recordings. Luckily, we were sitting on the solution. Since the guys usually tune by ear, we had to figure out the exact pitch at which the gimbri should be tuned in relation to yesterday's recordings. Since we had a bit more time to prepare, as opposed to yesterday, we decided to go nuts on UA plugins. Then we did some guitars, vocals.
والله ما نخاف ولا ضرن بتغير عليا الله 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 يا الله لنا حبيب ربي داوينا يجذب معنا شي مجنون غير الحوال اللي بيا.
And back vocals.
Okay, cool.
سعدي بالوالي جاني بعمامات خضراء سعدي بالوالي جاني بعمامات خضراء مولاي عبد القادر يا فارس الحضراء مولاي عبد القادر يا فارس الحضراء.
One last time for power.
الله 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 الله.
And then, as suggested by Youssef, percussions.
Il y a les thèmes de guitare à faire, hein?
Il y a quelques percussions à ajouter.
Namely, high-density polyethylene injection molded trash cans. And at the other end of the spectrum, we have krakebs, or karakavo, metallic percussions that live somewhere between castanets and cymbals. Remember earlier I was talking about two unmistakably Gnawa instruments? Well, that's the other. And they are used absolutely everywhere. Finally, after the very last gimbri doubling, everything was in the bag.
On a terminé. On a pu faire ça.
Merci
Ah
Greg.
bah c'est fini.
Simon,
Belle journée,
les amis. Une longue journée, mais une belle journée. Cool.
We did it.
It's done. Band number one.
Band number one.
Yes, it is just the beginning.